This is Dying Light. We're taking a look at the game on the Xbox Series S, where it has now been given a next-gen aware update, and the results are rather disappointing for the most part. So be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So you're probably wondering what we're getting. There are two modes here, and both of them sadly run at 30 FPS. I thought my eyes were deceiving me, or I was just extremely tired, but no, that is the case. We are getting two 30 FPS modes. So the Series X is actually benefiting from getting three distinct modes, where two of them are running at 60 FPS, whereas here we get two distinct modes, but both of them are running at 30 FPS, which is just rather disappointing. And I'm assuming the whole situation around, the lack of the FPS boost prior probably was just due to something with this running on Series S. I guess it just can't do it. Or, again, this next-gen aware, not like properly sort of upgraded experience, just really wasn't, there just wasn't enough effort to actually really give us an upgraded experience. So we do slightly benefit here, and you do have to go to the main menu in order to actually switch the modes. In case you are wondering, you can't just do it right from here. You actually have to go back, and you have to go into the main menu in order to switch the modes. So we will be kind of going back and forth just a little bit so that you could see the two options here that are available. And again, it was rather disappointing to see that they are limiting the Series S to just the two options. So the first mode is the performance mode, which is again 30 FPS at 1080p. And then there's the quality mode, which is targeting 30 FPS at what they're calling a quad sort of HD, quad HD, so that's 1440p at 30 FPS. So I think the most logical suggestion here would be to take the resolution, like technically both are an improvement, clarity and visually to the experience, but I would say probably going with the quality mode seems to be the best experience for you to enjoy. Again, I don't know how they even call it a performance mode at 30 FPS. That is just absolutely madness to me, and I just can't even understand that. It really does seem to be quite a bit of a lazy sort of update would be the biggest thing, or a disappointing update, I guess you would say. It is nice that they actually took the time to go back and improve the experiences, but you can definitely see that we are kind of inheriting that 1X sort of upgrade that they introduced at the same time. So it just seems like it was the easiest way for them to give us a next-gen update without actually properly, fully optimizing the experience. And I think a lot of players and fans will be somewhat disappointed if you're on the Series S. Now, like I was saying, it is visually better. There is a visual improvement for sure. The game does look significantly better in either of the options. It looks a lot more clear, and that's good. I think that is a really good choice for this one, so that it at least looks better. So if you weren't already aware, this is running at the 1440p. That's what we're showing now, is the sort of, I guess you would call it quality mode, and sort of the way to go for this particular offering. I will, of course, as mentioned prior, be switching later on so that you could see the difference between the two of them. Even the 1080p mode, it does look more crisp over that original experience that you would very likely have been having from the inherited Xbox One release on the Series S prior. So it does look better. It's good for the longevity of the Dying Light experience, that you are able to enjoy a better looking game. I would really love to see them offer a 60 FPS mode. I feel that the Series S should be powerful enough. It is a very demanding game, technically. And like I had said, it was just really crazy almost to, I just assumed we were getting 60 FPS on the base performance mode, because it would be crazy to call a performance mode 30 FPS. Or, call it a performance mode and offer 30 FPS. That's just is nuts to me. But, it does play smoothly fine. It does look significantly improved. when you are going to, like, the 1440p mode looks very, very clear. I do think the Series S should even be powerful enough to do a 1440p at 60, considering it's a number of years old. But the game does look really good. It does look sharp. It does look clean. It's brutal. It's gruesome. It's intense. When you drop down to the 1080p mode, which is what we're going to be doing here in a sec, you will notice that there is a lot more, you know, jagged type lines on things such as wires. The edges of buildings and some trees are not quite as clear. Obviously this should give you a deadlock 30 FPS, but I don't really see that you'd be missing any sort of performance doing 30 FPS at the quality mode, or at least you shouldn't. Maybe some extremely high demanding scenes might cause that problem. I don't think so, so that shouldn't be an issue at all. As in the past, if you do want a higher frame rate mode, 60 FPS, you know, I was kind of thinking we might actually be getting up to 120 FPS, so it's kind of a little bit crazy to me to see this in action. You know, it is best to definitely make sure you let the developers know, as they were able to do such a thing for Dying Light 2. It's just, yeah, Series S. Oh, and it also has these moments where it's a little slower for some of the texturing to load in within the environment, so, you know, just kind of give it a sec if that's the case, and it should pop in fine. I did also notice that it does seem to, I don't know if it loads necessarily slower than the Series X, but it's not really as snappy as Series S optimized games typically are, since this console does usually kind of load in lower, you know, resolution textures and whatnot. But since this is kind of a easygoing sort of update that's not necessarily super intensely impressive, I do, you know, kind of assume that's wise. They just didn't really do that. I mean, we do get the benefit of more faster loading performance regardless because of the next-gen consoles, but you get what I'm saying is it could definitely be a lot more impressive. But I guess at the end of the day, the biggest thing is I'm happy that we did get an upgrade, that it does run, you know, better in terms of visual quality, that this helps with the longevity of this title. I can't help but feel that those on the Series S will very likely be disappointed that they're not getting the full potential of what their console has to offer. But at the same time, it is a fun experience that you could play, you know, alone, with others, in co-op if you'd like to. There's cooperative play. There's The Following is a really cool sort of expansion that I think you might find interesting. We'll have a Series X video on The Following that you can check out as well if you want to see that kind of mode in that area. I don't believe we'll be showing it off on the Series S because, again, not hugely impressed by this upgrade. But, you know, it is, again, nice to have. I don't want to complain too much, but I'm sure others will be a little disappointed as well with the lack of the full fluidity there. I mean, they do have a neat sort of, I guess you would say, effect that kind of makes it feel a little smoother, but it does not, you know, really have the fluidity that you get with the 60 FPS experiences when you're on the Series X. Unless you're dead tired and you don't notice that on the info thing because you're just like, what? There's no way. Anyways, this is an upgrade, for sure. Yeah, it is an improvement. It is a next-gen improvement. Did I want more? Absolutely. Do I think lots of others want more? Probably. So I hope you kind of enjoy more of a look at the two different modes. You know, obviously, if there's further switching, you'll see the adjustment going into the menu, but I'll try to present a few different locations so that you can see how each of these are running and how the different locations are kind of looking throughout the world. I guess for some additional context, like what I was talking about, there are a number of missions you can do. I'm just doing open world exploration. There's day-night cycles. There's actual, like, things you have to do objective-wise. You can do lots of side missions. There's crafting, there's weapon collection, there's improvements on weapons, there's lots of different individuals you meet along the way as you try to survive and unlock different safe zones so that you can use those to kind of have a resting spot, you know, things like that, storage and whatnot. It is an expansive city-type scape, so it is a bit more dense in terms of the play, but yet there's a great sense of verticality, parkour, and gameplay movement throughout it, so that you can flow across the world very swiftly, and I think that is handled quite well, in my opinion. I definitely did like the style of this one and the way that you sort of flow through it. It's basically Dead Island, but with a much sleeker, advanced systems across the board, from the movement to what you do in it. Just a much, much better take on that franchise, and I think that's quite interesting. So yeah, this update will be definitely interesting to hear from folks and what they think of this one. I mean, it definitely has some improvements to offer. It does look better. It does provide a better setup, but not having that 60 FPS on the Series S is disappointing, and also just kind of really shocking, I would say, is the biggest thing, especially considering the weight. You know, you think they would get this ahead of Dying Light 2 so that people could play it, the update, and get used to, you know, getting prepared into the series for Dying Light 2, but, you know, even releasing just after, I guess we are kind of thankful that we did get an upgrade of some sort, as it does help preserve this title, especially going into the future, with more people probably buying it in the years to come, maybe playing the sequel, then going back and checking this one out, because it does stand on its own as a unique title, and a very good game. I think a lot of people like this one, I think a lot of people like what it has to offer, but that's really all the details I have for jumping into Dying Light on the Series S. It's been real fun putting this video together, so again, liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well. Good luck out there surviving, stay safe in the open world, maybe have some friends come and join you, and yeah, that's the best of here. Just enjoy some more gameplay showcasing it in action.
Sometimes I feel like there's nothing outside. I made it in one piece. Now I know how Brecken must have felt running at night. It is no picnic. Gotta report.
Congrats, you survived the night. Too bad that run didn't work out.
Hey, could you check on by?
Brecken is so desperate he's ready to deal with the devil himself, Rise. And since I'm supposed to determine whether or not Rice is the one who stole the GRE's secret document... well, this-
Crane, can you hear me?
Jade? Yeah, I copy. Something wrong?
No, it's, Listen, Crane, we all appreciate what you're doing. And I know you're doing it to redeem yourself. Because Amir died saving your life.
Look, I'm doing it because if we don't get antizin from Rice, people will start to die.
You know, I met Amir right after the outbreak. I didn't know him for that long, but... he was the best, most decent man I've ever known. But I just want you to know that I don't blame you. Amir knew the risk. And Crane, we know that you too are taking a risk to do this for us.
Look, Jade, we'll talk when I get back with the antizin, okay?
Okay. Just come back in one piece, all right?
Okay, Raheem, I'm here.
Make sure they see you and know who you are. You don't want to sneak up on them. That's a good way to catch a bullet.
Wish me luck, kid.
Good luck, brother. You're going to need it.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Hands up! What the fuck do you want?
I'm here to see Rice. Brecken sent me.
Brecken? That asshole in the tower? Alright, what does he want?
I've come to make a deal.
What kind of deal?
The kind I make with